What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. After the Cardinals series here, special Father's Day edition, if you can see. I'm sure Vito's going to cut to it on video, but we're here with our dads. Thought it would be a good way to celebrate some Father's Day with them, get them on the podcast for the first time, because, of course, we would not be Mets fans without them, so it's great to have them on. Guys, how you feeling? Introduce yourselves. Say what's up.
How you doing? Happy Father's Day, everybody. I'm Mark.
Hello, all. Thanks for having me. I am James P. Schiano. Paul, not to be confused with James A. Schiano, Anthony to my left. But pleasure to be here.
As you guys probably heard, which is a really funny coincidence, Mark and James, same names are dads, Mark and James.
Yeah, just to make it confusing for anybody at home who's wondering, you're hearing a lot of different Marks and James today. That's what's going on with the dads. So we're going to, of course, do the normal episode, go through all the games, tell you what happened. It wasn't great. I mean, let's just be honest. It's not the most fun, but we're going to try to have some fun here, especially with our dads in the studio, in the theater here at Citi Field. Make sure you follow us on all our social media, at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Mets'd. Yep, I said that. METSDUP. Subscribe to the New York Mets YouTube channel so you can see the video version of this. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. James, how are we feeling?
I mean, good day overall. Again, family at the ballpark. Mom and sister also over here watching in the studio. But it's just really would have loved for the Mets to have completed this big comeback and get a win this series. The Cardinals team hasn't won a series since the middle of May. Ugh. So tough to see us be on the other side of them, maybe getting off the schneid with the worst record in the National League. It's disappointing. It's a really disappointing way to end the series.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get a win on Father's Day, too. It was a very winnable game. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about it in a few here, but just overall, a bit of a series that left you wanting just a little bit more. Like, we saw some good things here and there. Like, the offense did have a good game one, did have a good game three. Like, they hit for power, too, which was nice.
And Friday night was one of the most succinct, easiest Mets wins of the entire year.
Easy.
Like, it was just wonderful. It was a 2-hour, 1-minute game, shortest Mets game of the entire season. And it was just very straightforward. They won. Even, like, before the game, we got a shutout Pride night on Friday night. It was a great event. The crowd was really amped up. It was bad weather, especially in Queens during the day.
Very windy.
It looked like it was going to be possibly washed out, if not delayed. Didn't happen, which is so the opposite of Wednesday, where it was beautiful all day, and the rain delay came out of, like, the clear blue sky. But Friday, bad weather all day, not delayed. Alex Cohen was, like, handing out fans, a bunch of, like, downstairs. They had the purple Pride shirts that were a huge hit. Jansport did national anthem. She was great. The crowd was really rocking. They had the Pride flag in the rotunda. It was a very nice event.
Oh, 100%. The team played really well, which also builds on top of it. Like, good energy, good vibes, good play. Love to see it. Some other little housekeeping things. We have a new member of the Mets family. You guys know him very well. A new baby has been born. Francisco Lindor's baby, of course, is the one we're talking about here. Amapola Chloe was born on Saturday. Saturday, Francisco Lindor got the first day off he's had in years, I'm sure.
He even somehow got the pinch hit. I figured you would save this to after we talked about the game on
Friday.
Friday.
Let's get it out.
Let's just talk. Yeah. Because he wasn't here to start the game, and then he pinch hit in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
And got hit by a pitch by Jordan Hicks, which, like, imagine becoming, like, having your second child and then getting hit by a 102-mile-an-hour sinker.
Dude, it's dad strength. I know it's the second daughter, but dad strength. Like, you probably didn't even feel it.
No, probably not at all. But yeah, nice. And also, we should also mention, I guess, there's
Yeah,
another baby has joined. More so the Mets'd family this weekend. A Father's Day buzzer beater by everyone's favorite long talker, Johnny Stats. Sophia Rose Barron, kind of brown-nosing the Coens a little bit, copying the name of their daughter, but very happy for John. Incredible that he's going to be a father, and very, very nice moment.
Shout out Shauna, too.
I have one issue with John's pregnancy.
Okay.
Yes, please.
It was so quick.
Only one?
He couldn't let Shauna get a day.
No.
He couldn't let her get the attention for a day. He had to come in and say, I'm going to get my Father's Day.
Yes. First day as a dad was Father's Day. I mean, like, this guy touched by God or what?
And it was quick, too, I think. It was like, he texted us at like 6:30.
Yeah, 7.
And I think like 9:30, 10 o'clock, he was like, the baby's born.
Yes. It wasn't even, it was a picture of her holding the hand. It was so cute.
So I can give you a rundown. Yesterday, John texted me in the middle of the day. He goes, we're texting about something else, and then he goes, this baby's coming. And I said, oh, like, is she close? And he said, I'm at the hospital, and she's pushing. And that was at like 5:30.
He texted you that?
Yeah. Honestly, I knew me and John were close. I didn't realize we were like
that close.
I didn't realize I'm one of the first people he's gonna text.
Nice.
That's ridiculously
He wants to
funny.
make sure he gets airtime.
Yeah, oh, of course.
Also, he had to upstage Francisco Lindor. He had this baby the same day as Francisco Lindor.
And you know he's going to tell us about that forever. And he's going to make sure Sophia knows that her and Amapola have been born on the same day.
He's gonna run up to Lindor the second he gets a chance.
1,000%.
Guess what? It's also funny because since his daughter was born, so June 17th, that's going to fall on Father's Day sometimes.
A lot,
So
yeah.
John's going to be a little ornery having to share Father's Day with his lovely daughter.
That's true. That
100%.
is interesting. Yeah, the
No,
birthday
definitely.
on Father's Day.
Yeah. All right, but back to baseball. We'll talk about some good things that happened on Friday night on the field. First of all, Megill had, I think, probably his best start of the entire season.
Definitely.
Best he looked all year. The fastball was very crisp. The slider looked really good. Got a lot of whiffs on it, especially low in the zone. Went 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, no walks, 1 earned run, only 4 hits. Completely in control. Not that much trouble. Like, usually it's Megill, like, oh, God, there's 2 men on. We got to work around some stuff. Only happened about once or twice. Also, the 7 strikeouts with no walks are the most Tylor Megill has ever gotten in his career with no walks.
Yeah, no, I mean, he looked really good. I was talking to my dad, and we were constantly texting throughout the game, and we're like, wow, like this game has gone really, really smoothly. He got into a little bit of trouble, it felt like, at one point where, like, he did have to battle, but he did. He went right back at them, which was really nice. And to get 6 innings at Megill, who has been struggling a bit, hasn't been the most consistent, is super big. And one thing that stood out to me was that his fastball, his location, his command was really, really good in this game. And you mentioned the 0 walks, but the fact that he was able, like, he's always working the outside corner, it seems like, with that fastball, trying to build off that slider or use that to build with the slider. And he was able to locate that in the zone, get some called strikes on the corner. That made the slider look even better because now you have to keep an eye out for that. You can make it a chase pitch. Just had a really, really good game. Went really smoothly, which was nice. It was a very fun and easy game. Vogelback back for the first game, hit a home run, looked a lot better. The at-bats were better. The confidence seemed to be there. And it was the shortest game of the year, 2 hours and 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was nice. How do you guys feel at home about the pitch clock? Like, games like this have to be a lot different than what you're used to.
Well, we were used to that at one time because we grew up on baseball moving very quickly. 2-hour games were the norm back in the day, but it is good to have that back because sometimes it just gets to be too much, and the pace of the game is definitely better. There are some games that maybe want to slow down a little bit more, so maybe the pitch clock could adjust a little bit, especially in the postseason, maybe after the 7th inning, things like that. But I think it's a welcome addition. So far, I feel that way anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it takes you back to when we were kids. Games are over quick. You were able to follow along more, keep your interest more. I think it's good for the game going forward to grow the game, where before people were annoyed that it would take so long and it's boring and this, that, the other thing. And unless you were a real baseball guy and you really love it so much, you didn't care. But I think now going forward, it's good because it'll attract a different audience.
I mean, I'm not going to speak for your mom. You can speak. She's also here. But I know my mom likes baseball casually because
Yeah.
me and my dad are crazy Mets fans.
You kind
as
of
all
have
us.
to at this point.
But I
yeah.
feel like she's more in tune now, and I'm sure the game time has to do with it a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. She was her attention span was not good for a baseball game, but
You're-
it's on point now.
Your mom also has no break because it's just you and your dad.
Yes,
Like, at least my
100%.
mom has my sister to bounce off, where it's like there's someone here who's not addicted to the Mets and watching the Mets and talking about
Oh,
the Mets
yeah.
all day long. Because I know, like, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. Whenever I come home now, wherever I call my dad on the phone, like, there's no small talk. It's right into the Mets.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like this, that. What do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? I can't believe that. And maybe hopefully this. There's nothing at all. And it's like, mom's like, oh, what are you doing? How's it going? Like, what'd you eat today? It's very, very, very different types of conversations.
It's a sickness.
no
It's a
doubt.
sickness for
Yeah,
sure.
we're diseased, and we can thank you guys for that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Another big part of why we want to do this Father's Day stuff, because Mark and I definitely wouldn't be Mets fans probably at all, if not as big of Mets fans as we are, without all the stuff doing with our dads, like going to crazy games as we're
yeah.
young, playing baseball, like them coaching us, all that stuff, and then just again having these conversations about the Mets every single possible moment, like constant texting, which is crazy.
We basically like have podcasts with our dads on phone calls every single day whenever we watch a game. It's like the next day, that's the first conversation.
Yeah, but those would have to be edited a lot.
Yeah, definitely a few.
Sure. Yes.
Last thing I want to shout out from Friday night, Josh Walker looked really good again.
Awesome.
Crispy 2 innings, 22 pitches. A huge hand in how this game became so short with
Yep.
Josh Walker's breezing through the last couple innings. Got 3 whiffs each with his fastball and his curveball. That curveball was really, really looking good. A lot of
Nice.
drop on it. And that fastball got up to 91, so now 95. Messed up there. But left side, there's a lot of velocity. It was very good to see him growing into like a more trustworthy role in this bullpen.
Yeah, and like Buck said, he just attacks batters. He's like, hit it. Come at me. Like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to hit me. And he's been very successful. I'm super excited to see more of him.
He's also massive.
Huge
He's
human.
huge. I can't
Huge.
believe how big he is. Dad, you met one of his family members on Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, I was here Wednesday night. Actually, ended up sitting in the family section. Very nice atmosphere, great atmosphere Wednesday night after the rain stopped. Stadium was just alive, and with the Yankees in town, with the Yankees the other side. It's interesting to be in the ballpark. It's a very rare event where people are rooting for the opposite team. Many people. So, but it brings out the best in everyone. It's always fun. And the Walker family was sitting right next to me, or a row ahead of me. So yeah.
Were they also big?
Yeah, I think there was some size there. I, mean, I think his dad is a firefighter.
I think so.
In the
Yeah,
Bronx.
out of the Bronx.
Yeah, out of
Yeah.
the Bronx, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
Mike,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark, yeah. So yeah, it was a fun night. It was definitely a fun night. But yeah, he's looking really good.
No, he's looking awesome.
And velocity in the bullpen is what we need and
Yep.
want. So
Definitely.
I didn't know
also-
James got family and friend seats in the clubhouse
No,
section.
my dad's I don't know what's the word. Pesky? Bold? Yeah. My dad's a lot of fun when he comes to the games by himself. Because he even told me that week, he was like, I might try to come to a Subway Series game. I was like, all right, yeah, let me know. And then I got off the train Wednesday. I got here like a half hour, 20 minutes before game time. And he's like, yeah, I'm by the Seaver statue. I was like, oh, you didn't even tell me you were coming to this game at all. And I walk up, like, give him a hug. I was like,
I mean, honestly, I left my office. I walked out at 5:30. I was in Jersey City, and hadn't really. I was 50-50, checking the weather. It was beautiful. I called my wife and I said, yeah, I'm thinking about going to the game. She's like, go see James. I'm like, okay. And I got on the train and I just came here. You know, it's just kind of a spur of the moment, and it was the last minute. I mean, obviously I wanted to be here. I didn't have a ticket, so I bought one. As soon as the rain started, it was perfect time to buy a ticket on the way in there.
yeah, and
so.
that was also back-to-back games my dad's come to. Also that Friday night Blue Jays game
Oh, my
where
God.
his brother rain delay.
Yeah.
So today broke that streak, thankfully, but
He's bringing the water with him when he's crossing the river.
yeah, exactly. Come over with it. But yeah, no, my dad comes to the games and he always finds a good spot to hang out.
I mean, like, you guys come up and say hello to us. Now when you see the dads around,
Yeah, you
when, you
guys-
see, when you see Big Mark and Big James, you got to say what's up to them, too.
Right.
Yeah, right. We introduced some of our friends around the stadium today too. Our favorite security guard, Steven.
Yep.
Very, very nice talking to him to meet our families, which is funny.
It's also cool to just have them out. Like, we don't, behind the scenes, they watch and listen all the time, which
Yeah.
is awesome. So now to have them see what's going on, see how the sausage is made.
I get some microphones. Talk a little bit.
Yeah,
You guys, you could loosen up a little bit. Have some fun here, guys. We're on a podcast.
Oh, they're tight. They're tight.
Yeah.
It's like
having
which is
good
also
fun.
about a year ago from today-ish.
I think
Our-
yesterday,
our
actually.
first episode with the
Is
Mets.
it really?
Yeah.
We're
A
close.
year?
A year.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah, I think
don't-
you're
is
right.
it exactly a year?
I think it was a year yesterday.
But yeah, we were tight.
Yeah.
We were tight those first few
It was
episodes.
hard. It's weird. It's a whole new thing.
How do you
Loosened
think we
up a
feel?
little bit.
Yeah,
Probably the
right?
same.
Like we're used to doing it in like my old bedroom, like Mark's office with like a webcam, and like I'd like bike there and like wearing a tie-dye shirt. Now it's like we have cameras and people. Vito.
Hey guys,
And Dylan.
And Dylan, shout out Dylan.
Yeah, get Dylan some time, too, on the camera.
Dylan, wave to the camera, Dylan.
There he is.
Hey, Dylan. All right, back to some baseball.
I'll tell you
back
another
to some
fun
baseball.
fact. Another fun fact about Wednesday night.
I like that.
I happened to, with the rain delay, some time to kill. I happened to run into Tia Alex.
Oh.
Nice.
And kind of walked right up to me, and so I had my season ticket quarter zip on. She's like, "Oh, I love
Flex.
that." I says, Alex, I just want to say thank you so much for you and Steve for buying this team. You know, we really appreciate it. Couldn't thank you more. And she says, "Oh, thank you so much." And she hugged me, and then we took a selfie, and just so down to earth and just so warm. You know, I just can't say enough about it. Just felt like we were friends.
No,
was
it's
great.
It's nice to have that,
It was great.
that kind
So
of
it was,
ownership
It
around.
was a fun night.
Yeah, Alex is always very warm whenever.
So I feel
Yeah.
that now I'm owed a hug by Tia Alex. So next time I'm here, if you're out there,
You
Tia,
say hi.
right here.
She's incredibly pleasant. She's very nice to be
Very,
around.
very nice.
But yeah, now back to the games.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the bad stuff now. I
Yeah,
guess.
now it's 2 games we lost. Saturday, it started off really rocky. Paul Goldschmidt and Jordan Walker each hit kind of serious home runs
Effortless.
early in the game off Senga. The Goldschmidt one was just like a fastball right down Broadway, and he crushed it because he's defending MVP, possibly a future Hall of Famer. And
Yeah.
then Jordan Walker hit a pitch. And also, if you guys aren't really hip to Jordan Walker, I hope this series
should
kind
be.
of made you realize that this is probably like one of the future like superstars in the making. He hit a pitch that Senga throw him, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball at his eyes.
To right field.
Oh my God.
Like 380 feet.
It was totally ridiculous. And he's 21-year-old kid. He was drafted out of high school in 2020.
They were talking about it on SNY. They were like, he didn't even get to play pro ball the first year he was drafted because there was no minor leagues because of the COVID season. So he's basically played 2 full years of pro ball after high school, and he is now starting every single day at the major league level. It's
And-
nuts. And it's not like with Alvarez, who gets signed when he's 16 and gets
Yeah.
to get a little bit of a taste. He just got thrown right into it, and he's been awesome.
And he's changed his position on the fly.
Yes.
Which is that's the most incredible thing of this. He was a corner infielder, and they're like, oh, we have 2 future Hall of Famers at our corner infield. Do you want to just try playing the outfield? He was like, yeah, okay. And we're jumping around a little bit, but he made a pretty crazy play to help get Brandon Nimmo out on Sunday,
Yeah.
where
Hose.
he dove for a ball in the corner. Ball got past him, 2-run score, a big moment at the time. But then he got up, recovered very quickly. Great athlete. Got to the ball. His arm is one of the best in baseball. Threw the cutoff man. It was like a BB. And then Nimmo was out by a step at third base, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But back to that game. That was a rough start for Senga. long ball kind of bit him a little bit. But that Jordan Walker home run was actually the last hit that he allowed in the game.
Oh, wow.
And that was in the 3rd inning.
Okay,
yes.
yeah,
And
I
he
mean,
went through 6.
Like watching it, he did settle in, which
Very
is
much.
kind of a Mets pitcher's theme. It feels like,
a
but
little bit. Yeah, he wound up with 8 strikeouts and 1 walk overall. And one more sad thing that happened though. Brendan Donovan had the second hard hit ball off the ghost fork all year.
that's tough.
I know, very
That's
tough. It sat lone inside and he got around on it. But overall, Senga, again, pitched well enough for the team to win, just didn't score any runs. And
No, it was Adam Wainwright. Like Adam Wainwright doing the Adam Wainwright thing he's done to the Mets forever.
I hate him so much.
20 years or whatever it's been now. I mean, we know how his career started against the Mets. We don't have to talk about that one. But
No.
the fact that this guy's out here throwing like 82, 83, and the Mets were hitting the ball really hard to start, which was like really encouraging because I think they got quick 3 runs. But the fact that he was just able to shut them down and like 7 hits, 3 runs, I think he even walked a couple guys. Like he wasn't sharp, and it's just frustrating that we couldn't jump all over him.
Mets had 10 hard hit balls off Adam Wainwright in 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 walks, only 3 strikeouts, and the hardest pitch he threw the entire game was 88 miles an hour.
I want to ask you guys, because Adam Wainwright, I feel like maybe for me and James, is just like,
Hate him.
we hate him.
Loathe
He's a
him.
pitcher that has always owned us, a part of the Cardinals who we hate. We have so much animosity towards them.
Despise them.
Who was like that guy for you guys when you were like growing up as Mets fans or even our age? Who was like the Met killer?
John Tudor on the
John
Cardinals.
Tudor. I don't even know
also.
who that is.
So
It was the
lefty,
Cardinals,
he used
yeah.
to kill us
Oh
in
my
the
God,
80s. He
yeah.
was such a nemesis. And, back then, free agency was kind of early on, and the players hated the players. There was no love between the teams. And John Tudor was just he was the bane of my existence. That's correct. He hated him.
Hey, like me, we don't know phrases.
Oh, that's the way you get it.
same
Sure,
thing.
yeah.
No, definitely. I remember those teams. I mean, the Cardinals and the Mets, the animosity goes way back.
Yeah.
It's not just from now. And yeah, we feel the same way back. Those late 80s teams, mid 80s teams, that was our biggest hurdle to get over the Cardinals. That was it. We had
In
to beat the
division, in
Cardinals.
our division, too,
those,
right?
and
So,
that
that was the East.
1985 year.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Oh.
remember that. I mean, we won 98 games.
Yeah.
We went home. I mean,
That's tough.
That's
incredible thinking about it.
Baseball was very different. You don't win your division, you're out, and that's it. And it was, guys like Terry Pendleton were on that team those years.
Tommy
and,
Herr.
Tommy Herr.
Who are these people?
These feel like fake people.
oh, they're not fake people.
And that's when hitting the ball on the ground was
Oh, my God.
really
And
something.
they had
you
the
had to do, 'cause
AstroTurf,
There was
right?
AstroTurf everywhere.
Yeah.
Like just
Oh,
there
yes.
were very few stadiums that didn't have AstroTurf, and
They
the
were built
Cardinals would
for
just hit it on the rug and it would roll to the wall triple every time.
And
so.
we spoke about this last night. James and I were at barbecue. My niece got married, but Willie McGee.
Oh, yeah. Wait, this is an unbelievable thing about Willie McGee. So I've shouted out my uncles in the show a few times. Vito wants me to stop talking to them because they're probably toxic, but it's okay. When my dad and his 2 brothers and I hang out, it's like encyclopedias of baseball, literally. And and of course, you guys could probably guess this. My uncle's favorite player right now is Luis Arias.
Yeah.
They think he's the coolest thing in the world right now. Throwback, old school, batting average. They love it so much. And then we're just like sitting around talking. And we're like, I wonder if any other players won a batting title in 2 different leagues. And I said that sentence, and my dad's brother, my Uncle Lou, in a millisecond, a microsecond, a purely involuntary response. He was like, Willie McGee won one with the Pirates, or that was the Pirates, right? The Cubs, Cardinals. He won one. He said, I forgot the team.
Cardinals and then Oakland.
And then he said, but then he got traded a couple years later to Oakland in August. He only played about 30 games with them, but he still won the batting title for the American League, but he played most of the games in National League. And I go in Baseball Reference, I'm like, how the hell did you have that in your head? And then my dad's pulling out like 70s, 80s baseball names never heard. It was Bill Madlock was the guy you said?
Oh, what a hitter!
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
what a hitter! Another Met killer too.
I mean, who was
Pirates
it?
in division with us also again. Yeah.
It was just crazy. These like welts, this baseball encyclopedias, these like things you build up over years. Like imagine like the other knowledge we would have if like these aren't the things we thought
Oh
about.
my God, yeah.
Like science, art, imagine all this stuff.
History.
I got some history.
Well, you might have history.
I got the
yeah.
history.
I mean, it's just there's so much of, but I think all 4 of our brains that are taken up by not just baseball in general, but Mets baseball.
Toxic sludge.
That's just it's a lot of space it takes up.
Well, my fandom, that's how it started. I mean, my oldest brother, Lou, Uncle Lou, as James mentioned, that's, it was 1973, remember? I was 8 years old, and probably the first games I watched were the World Series games in 73. Remember sitting in front of the TV in the afternoon with my brothers. One of my brothers is a Yankees fan, so I just happened to lynch, because the Mets were in the World Series that year, I became a Mets fan. That's the first time I remember actually watching the Mets was the World Series in '73. Yeah.
How about you, Dad?
I remember like a little bit of '69, just a little bit. My family, they really weren't sports guys.
Safe to say.
Yeah, but right, exactly. Your uncles don't really know much about sports, but '73 was probably the coming of age where it clicked for me, where I really was into it. I remember Pete Rose taking out Buddy Harrelson and that whole brawl, and and then years later we're in Vegas and we're in some hotel, whatever, and Pete Rose has a setup there where you can sign autographs.
Nice,
It was empty. There was nobody in there. So we went in there. You were about 14, maybe
14,
13.
I think, yeah.
And they're like, you could ask Pete anything you want, but be prepared because he's going to give you the straight answer. So, of course, I was like, so, Pete, what's the deal with, Buddy Harrelson? That was my guy. And he was quick to say just like, he came in and it was, and he goes, and that was it. That was it. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, you too. But it's also funny to think about. You just mentioned the fight. We kind of forgot last year. The Mets and the Cardinals had one of the bigger baseball brawls we've seen in the last few years.
100%.
And this is the first time we've played them this season.
Yeah.
And then we played them twice. Those 2 series early, and then got rid of them, and that kind of like sent the Mets. I feel like those Cardinals series kind of sent the Mets season, like got their momentum going last year because you had that big brawl, and then you had the big comeback in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's a good way.
That was
really
a big first
shove it to
huge
them.
comeback. Yeah, that Nolan Arenado made the error, and then we just took the advantage. That was a crazy moment. That was even before we started doing the podcast. I remember that was in my old apartment. I was listening to Howie just by myself in my windowless room in Brooklyn. That was
freelance boys.
Yeah, freelance boys, like the grinders. And then we had the game here, which was also just before we started with them. With Pete hit the home run.
Yeah.
In the day game, we did a live stream for that.
Yes.
And then a lot of people were like, "This is so cool." And like one dude was like really making fun of us. It was really funny. Great engagement. Bad clicks are still clicks.
They are. That is true.
Yeah.
All clicks are clicks.
But I feel like that was a big thing that set the Mets up last year. And like you could feel the heat between these two teams.
No, 100%. I gotta say I didn't feel the heat this time. I didn't feel like any animosity between
it's
the
hard,
two.
It's hard to have the heat when the two teams are combined, almost 25 games under 500. It's a little less heat.
They also don't want to wake up like a sleeping giant a little bit too.
Yeah, I guess that too. But no, it was frustrating. And that Saturday game was just so frustrating. To watch Adam Wainwright do this all these years later and have nothing in his tank.
I hate him.
I despise him.
I hate him.
And he's awful right now. His
bad.
ERA is like 6. He's like mixing up these curveballs and these sinkers, and the Mets are crushing the ball and he's finding gloves, and it's just so freaking frustrating to lose a game like that.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals pitching...
Especially when the Cardinals have no hits for 4 straight innings.
No, nothing. It's just we shut them down, and we just couldn't get more runs. Frustrating. Was really hoping that, like, I don't know, at least maybe the hard hits would fall into Game 3. Granted, they did. The offense scored. We scored 7 runs. Like, there was a lot of good stuff to talk about there. But the bad is that Carlos Carrasco had a just straight up bad start.
Yeah, this was Carrasco's worst start since he returned from injury towards the end of May. It was bad. They were hitting it left and right. He wasn't really getting any swings and misses. John Curtis was warming up, I believe, by the time the second inning started rolling around. Yeah. Nolan Arenado hit that home run really early. The first one that he would
Crushed
hit
it.
wasn't even the worst one he hit, but it was rough. But cool to see the Mets again, like battle back. If you have to take a positive, like Francisco Lindor, the home run, his second at bat after having a child. So
his righty swing is just
it's
butter.
It's beautiful.
It's so good.
It did feel like he was taking much better at bats. He put another ball to the warning track. I could see now. The ease of no longer having his wife pregnant right now, the baby being here, being happy and healthy. I feel like that kind of set him on a run. I remember I've talked about this a few times in the show.
Jose Ramirez.
His old Cleveland teammate, Jose Ramirez, he had the worst stretch of his career in April to June when his wife was pregnant, and then he was the same exact player he's always been right after that. So hoping for that from Lindor. But, yeah, it was a weird game because the Cardinals kept getting more runs. We kept getting really close and getting back. We did tie it at one point. Big-time Tommy, the hottest hitter on planet Earth. His Baseball Savant slide that just came out. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a lot of red ink.
Of course it is.
Barrel rate, WOBA, exit velocity, hard hit percentage, everything. Top of the line. Big time Tommy. Me and Mike Petriello, we freaking knew it.
Yep.
But great moment. The stadium was rocking. It was 7-7. You kind of felt like then it was going to be like a race to 10. Like both offenses were humming. Both bullpens have seen better days. And like, all right, let's get after it. And then everything just kind of stopped in one shot.
We had a young kid. How old do you think he was, Dad?
8,
the kid?
maybe.
8, yeah. He was sitting behind us, sitting up in the 500s with the real fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
of course. And he was, I think it might have been his first Mets game, but he was so insanely loud, but like cheering for all the right stuff.
He was spot on.
Was it the kid in the Harvey jersey with the big chain?
No, it wasn't.
There was one.
him.
There's a kid we passed in the 500s. Also, it was cool sitting in the 500s first time in a while.
Yeah, haven't done it in a minute.
Yeah, because we used to do that regularly. And now we've gotten a little Hollywood on you guys, but we bounce around. We like to hang in the field level now because show business. But
Yeah, so the kid had ice cream all over his face. I mean, he knew what he was talking about. He was super loud, but it was piercing the air. It was. I've never heard someone be so loud, but also it wasn't like, like when little kids yell and it gets like that crazy high pitch.
Yeah.
He had like just enough bass in his voice where it wasn't
enough.
screechy. And for 5 innings, it was a lot, but I respected he was having a good time. Love that.
Fun question for you guys. Answer individually. What were we like at Mets games as kids?
I asked my dad that today.
Also what were the age ranges like? We were like 8 to 10, and then like 11 to 15. Like how was that growth as fans?
So I think Mark's first Mets game, we went with his papu, his Greek grandfather,
Papu.
3 years old, and he was great. He sat still. He was very much into everything that was going on. It was the late 90s, probably 99 season around there.
That would be
So the Mets were
99.
kind of, competitive then,
getting
right?
good.
But then like the best memory, I think, or the earliest memory was last day of the year, Al Leiter, we beat the Pirates, I believe, and they had like fan appreciation. The players came out, so we were talking about before.
Yeah.
And then you were always into the games,
Yeah.
always. Never wanted to walk around, never wanted to, you weren't distracted by anything else. It was all about the baseball game. Piazza was your guy,
Of course.
and so you were mesmerized by Piazza and the Mets. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you're the reason I called 911 like 10 times too when Todd Pratt
That's
hit
right.
the home run.
That's right.
He wrote 917, but I read it as 911.
Yes.
You called the cops?
I called 911 like 10 times, and they're like, "What's your emergency?" I'm like, "I'm trying to talk to my dad. Like, Todd Pratt hit a home run," and the cops showed up at
Yeah.
my Yaya Bapu's house, who don't speak any English. So you had a 3 or 4 year old me explain to the police what was going on. They're like, "That's a 7." I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
nice." And
yeah.
I think I called my dad.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, I
James.
mean, I think same thing. I remember the first game that we took James to. I think it was the Colorado Rockies, and it may have been probably around that same time. I think their first year in the league was '98. The Rockies or '97, but yeah, I think it was. And we sat in the picnic section out in Shea Stadium, of course, out in the outfield. And I guess the first game was a lot of. Pretzels and ice cream and things like that. But the fandom picked up pretty quickly. I remember one thing I remember specifically, no matter how many runs we were up or down, we would never leave a game
That's
before
us.
the last
Same
out.
thing. Same
Didn't
thing.
matter.
Never.
Didn't
Never.
matter.
I could
Game.
never understand that.
No.
Yeah.
It's
No, it
just,
doesn't make sense.
That was like,
Yeah.
check traffic. So
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. So
And I will say this too about the fandom of everybody, of us or whatever, or Met fans in general. It's so easy to be a Yankee fan.
So easy.
It's so easy to be a Cardinals
all the other
fan.
teams in sports.
They have this tradition of winning and whatever, blah blah blah. But as soon as they fail, those fans are out.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
They quit.
Met
So,
fans do or die. We live and die with the Mets.
Absolutely.
So we know what it's like. We're true fans. If there's any true fan in sport, it's a Met fan. Maybe the Cubs fans too, but Met fans for sure.
Maybe.
Absolutely. But I guess, it starts from the old Brooklyn Dodger
Yes.
mentality because them bums, right? And,
Them bums. Yep.
If I date even my fandom back, it's from my uncle because he was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, my Uncle Al, and that's how my brother became a Mets fan. They lived in the same house. Back then, all the Italians lived in the same house, first, second, third floor. There was, 30 people in one house, 3 families. So interestingly, my dad was not a sports fan at all.
Yeah.
At all. Never watched a game with my dad. It was my brothers. My dad was always working 2 or 3 jobs. So, and that's the whole thing is the Mets fans come from the Brooklyn Dodger fans, and they
Yep.
just have that mentality,
Working class fans.
That's it, exactly.
Oh, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Proletariats, heart of the people. That's what we are. Salt of the earth.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I was waiting for salt of the
exactly.
earth.
Salt of the
Yeah.
earth. That's right.
And then something else we have to talk about that happened Sunday's game. Something that we knew was going to happen this whole series that I was dreading. The Paul DeYoung home run.
Yeah, it was
like,
about time.
Just absolute clockwork. Paul DeYoung. You want to hear his career stats against the Mets?
No.
All right, well,
Save him.
I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Why?
He's played 30 games against the Mets, and he has 11 home runs.
Yeah.
That's so many.
That is that's the 4th most home runs he has against any other team in his entire career, and it's 82 games against the Pirates, 80 games against the Cubs, 83 games against the Reds, and then 30 against the Mets.
He's like on pace for like a 50. If he played only against the Mets for a season, he hit like 55 home runs.
He almost has an 1,100 career OPS against the Mets. He doesn't have an OPS above that, like even 800 against any other team besides teams he played 3 or 4 games against.
How's that even possible?
For some reason, he sees the colors on the other side of the field, and he locks in.
He's
It's
enraged.
I mean,
30 games.
let's think about this. So if they went to him and they said, "We traded you to the Mets," would he say, "Nope"?
Whoa. That's
I
another
can
interest-
only play against them.
Another
Can't play
interesting
with them.
storyline this weekend. Something happened with the Cardinals actually. Is that
Oh, yeah.
I guess we just mentioned this. Like, why not? Also, can rile up some Cardinals fans. You guys want to watch, but They asked David Freese to be in the team Hall of Fame. He just said no.
Yeah. Well, he said no, but it was a little more nuanced.
Yeah.
He felt he wasn't deserving of being in the Hall of Fame.
I think that's kind of cool. I
Yeah,
think,
very much so. I
Yeah.
respect that a lot. I think that's the right answer.
Yeah.
And he handled it beautifully, and kudos to him. Even though
like, that's pretty self-aware. He's gonna be like Stan Musial, like Albert Pujols,
Yeah.
like David Freese.
Yeah.
like
No, and I think one of the things I did read quickly on Twitter, he said that, he grew up there in St. Louis, I think. I think
did
he's
he
a
really?
fan, yeah. And I think he said that
Wow.
there are too many other players that are deserving that aren't in yet.
Yeah.
And I don't think
guy.
I'm higher than them on that list. And yeah, that's
That's a good guy.
amazing.
That's a
to do this for your life and then be offered that, and that's pretty tough.
It's the only nice thing we'll say about the Cardinals. We hate them otherwise, though. Hate them so happy they stink.
really, really, just so lucky also to be at the ballpark this weekend and have the grace of the best fans in sports come to the game. So kind and generous and wonderful to have all these great fans from St. Louis in the ballpark. Cheer for every team. Respect the game.
I mean, as my dad was saying, Mets fans, we're here no matter what. Cardinals fans, they start to lose for the first time in 100 years, and they all of a sudden don't show up anymore.
Exactly. I'm kind of being facetious because there really weren't many Cardinals fans. In the
No,
ballpark.
I was
Years
shocked.
past, coming to Mets Cardinals games, it would be a big batch of Cardinals fans.
Especially a weekend in the summer.
Yeah, because even like most road games we play here, like everyone wants an excuse to come to New York. It's the greatest city in the world. All these other people have to live in all these other cities.
St. Louis.
It really, imagine living in St. Louis.
No.
God. I don't know, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, but yeah, that's not a place I'd like to live. It seems like a very scary city to be around, but it's always a great excuse. People come travel to New York, like see the ballpark. What?
I'm going to St. Louis in 2 weeks for a wedding.
We're going to need a
Wow.
review. You're going to a wedding in St. You know people in St. Louis?
So it's my friend who's from Jersey, from Caldwell.
Oh, okay.
Who's getting married to a girl from St. Louis. They live in Nashville.
Oh,
I'm gonna go to Yankees Cardinals.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Whoa.
It's Roger Maris bobblehead day, so that's like
that's
a
awesome.
thrill.
that's the best fans versus the worst
That's
fans in sports.
But I think it's the worst fans versus the worst fans in sports. But St. Louis is actually rated one of the most unsafe cities in America.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to talk about. Someone on Twitter like a week or two ago was really funny. They ranked every single Major League Division teams based on murder rate per capita, and the Cardinals blew away the NL Central. They
Yeah.
crushed them.
St. Louis, not a place I'm going to choose to hang out too often.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that'd be
Good
a good
barbecue.
Oh yeah, pretty good barbecue. I
But
feel
at
like
least they cheer their fans.
yeah, they're so
It's
happy.
true.
They cheer for everybody.
Bunch of nerds.
Just pretend they're really pretentious. It's got to be the most pretentious people in the Midwest.
100%.
Midwest salt of the earth. I love the Midwest. You'll never hear me say a bad thing about the Midwest. Except St. Louis.
The Cardinals
Don't like 'em.
fans.
Yeah, Huckleberry Finn. Ooh, Tom Sawyer. Great.
You know what I learned too? There's a lot of people from Illinois that are actually Cardinals fans. Basically,
Oh, yeah, for
outside of
sure.
Chicago,
Yeah.
you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, I was
which
going to say that because I think the Cardinals demographic have the largest fan base.
Yeah.
Because there's no teams.
It's like them and the
around
Braves.
Yeah, them and the
Right.
inbred Braves fans.
Right, and back in the day, KMOX, I believe, is the radio station. That was before TV, and that was the biggest radio station out in the Midwest, and they gathered their
listened.
fans in that
That's
way.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals also do have a history of excellence. Like this, they're on pace.
This is
They're,
one of the few times they're going to be bad ever.
yeah, they I don't think they've ever lost
it's been a
100
while.
games.
No.
I'm going to tell you.
They
so I'm
haven't
gonna
been a
look it
last
up.
place team
No.
in the NL since 1918.
Whoa, Marky
Wow.
Stats over there.
John, I had to fill in for John. Sorry, John.
No, it's all right. John doesn't watch him. He's not here. He's not a real fan.
Yeah, wait. Give us a word to.
Give us a random word. If John listens to this, he has to tell us this word.
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins. No free ads. But yeah, John will know. If he listens, you'll tell us. But I know he's not going to listen because we do this every time he doesn't show up.
Never once said it.
Johnny Vanity.
I mean, he's got a kid now.
Well, now he's had a kid for a day, and he's still probably going to do the Future of Flushing podcast you told us before, which is just what a blessing for Sean.
No days off.
So you know what I never thought about? Like, is there a St. Louis? Like, is that like based on?
is there a St. Louis?
And there is a St. Louis.
Oh, really?
He's the patron
course there
saint
is.
of masons and builders.
Wow, that makes some
okay.
sense.
Okay.
Learn something.
I guess that's why
So his
the
name
arch
wasn't
is there.
Luigi.
Here you go.
Because my grandfather was Luigi.
Big union guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Big union guy.
Local 3.
Local 3. That's right.
Which one?
My dad. Local
that?
3.
Local 3 electricians. Yeah, that's me. Yep.
So the Cardinals have not had a losing season since 2007, where they went 78 and 84. That's brutal to hear. They won the World Series, beat us, and then had a bad season.
Well, they were bad 2006
I know,
too.
that's
Yeah,
just
that was, don't even mention
that's
2006.
crushing. And
Oh
then
my
it was
God.
1999. They did have a rough middle of the 90s where they had some losing seasons. But yeah, pretty much the Cardinals are a franchise of
always
winning.
good.
Yeah, pretty good. They have 11 World Series.
And again, they're having a really bold strategy these last few years where they're just totally snubbing modern pitching analytics.
Yeah.
And they're going completely against what everyone knows, based on data, statistics,
Knowledge,
results.
watching.
It's good. Yeah, like velocity, movement, really obvious how to get guys out nowadays. And the Cardinals are like, no, we still want contact. They're still going for that. So again, really props to them for trying to just like buck every single trend and like think that they're smarter than every single other person in the entire league. But yeah, great for the Cardinals. Really great to watch them win their first series in a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, we did lose a series to
That's
them.
what I mean. It's terrible. It sucks.
Yeah,
We're like
it's
saying
tough.
now, like I don't even gave the home run to Nolan Arenado.
Back-to-back
second in the game.
days.
I can't stand Nolan Arenado either. I've like everyone in baseball always loves him. Thinks he's one of these great player generation. I can't stand him.
I don't hate him.
I don't like him.
I don't hate him. Him and Paul Goldschmidt are probably the two guys I have no animosity towards on this
I
roster.
respect the hell out of Paul Goldschmidt. Shout out, he's my first baseman in Cousin Yuri's league, my best dynasty team. I love Goldschmidt. He mid-season acquisition last year, just can't torpedo. He was amazing.
Last thing about the series, should we just say Dominic Leone still hasn't allowed an inherited runner
Dominic
to score?
Leone's been awesome.
It's been great.
Yeah, is like a 1.5 in the last like month.
I think maybe by the next time that we're in Citi Field for the podcast, I'll have a Dominic Leone jersey.
Yeah, and maybe we can talk to him. I'd like to talk to Dominic
Yeah,
Leone now.
let's see what he's got.
Yeah, him, Brigo, Rayleigh, Roberts. I feel like would be some
The
good
bullpen
good
boys.
interviews. Yeah, the bullpen boys.
What's his story like, Leone? Hey, he's been
Leone?
a bunch of teams.
Journeyman.
He spent a while with the Giants. He actually didn't have that bad of results there, but he got pushed out in a roster crunch. And this year, he came from another team before us. I
Right.
forget which, but the stuff's been grading out as actually like good. It's at least average, a hair above, and his command has still been awesome. So he's someone he got up to 97 today with his fastball.
Yeah, that's big.
So he feels like a guy who actually might have some staying power in his bullpens. That's a really good find.
Also, when Jordan Hicks is on, that's pretty impossible to hit, huh?
Yeah, Jordan Hicks throwing 103-mile-an-hour sinkers is crazy.
Yeah,
I did
I mean,
meet
that's
Jordan Hicks in the offseason. Not a fun guy to be around. Yeah, Ryan Helsley, hell of a guy, salt of the earth. Great, David
Well, and he
Bednar,
hates the
salt
Braves
of the
too.
earth. What?
And he hates the Braves too, Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, he's raised. Loves the Cowboys though. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, rocking Ezekiel Elliott jersey at the Ohio State game was pretty cool of him. But yeah,
I guess when you get it over 100 miles per hour on the slider, you don't. I mean, on the
yeah,
you don't have to be nice
I-
anymore.
Just some backup. Jordan Hicks went to a college football game in a labyrinth like graphic T-shirt, a big overcoat, trench coat, Ray-Bans in the cloudy day in November, and leather shoes, like actual shoes with like a strap and spikes. We were like,
He doesn't know the tailgate vibe.
where do you think you were going today? Like, what is this?
Have you been to a college football game?
Yeah,
ever?
like we're in Ohio.
Did he go to college? Let's see. I wonder what school he went to.
He's from Houston, but yeah. But now that's the end of the series. We did lose it here, so now we're gonna move on to Estimate, and I think our dads are gonna take over Estimate for this series because John's not here. I mean, new dad.
Have you guys thought of anything?
Mark won the last one. The Cardinals only struck out what? The Mets only struck out what? 16 times this series.
Yeah.
16 times. I had 19. Mark had 18. So that cuts it my lead to 3 now. 7 series left in the first half. One of us going to have to wear the full kit for probably maybe the Sunday right after the All-Star break.
I won't give any dates specifically, but we will tell you guys ahead of time.
And we'll have to wear that for the episode too. You
Yeah.
know, hat, belt, cleats, click clack metal cleats in the concourse.
Eye black.
Maybe eye black. I don't want to do eye black. Mark will do eye black.
You're gonna do eye black.
I don't want to do eye black.
Well, you are because you're gonna lose, but.
Yeah.
I don't know when you were in Little League, you love the eye black.
I did love the eye black. I did love that. I used to like paint my whole face.
So do you guys have? Did you come up with one? I know we kind of just threw you on the spot a little bit.
A little bit.
You did, yeah.
Just throw anything out there.
How about, have we done a stolen base one? Have you guys done
No, we
stolen
haven't done
bases
stolen
in
bases, I don't
Estimate?
think.
So we got Altuve, right, on the
Yep.
Astros. And Marte on the Mets is actually doing well. So
Yeah.
maybe between the two teams, stolen
Okay.
bases.
Yeah,
How about
stolen
that?
bases. I like that.
Okay.
You call Mr. Lino. I like
Well
that.
done.
Thank you.
Altuve
Well done,
is
Dad.
back. He's starting to play a little bit better too, just as we ease into the Astros preview. Because last time we played that team, it did not go very well at all.
No,
But
we haven't beat them in a minute.
No, like not even at all. Like no wins, period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not even like hyperbole. Like we literally did not beat them last year.
Oh god, it sucks.
We had a game here with the Astros, right? And didn't
Yeah,
go
it was
well.
tough. That was also one of the first times as well that we were doing stuff with the Mets because we talked to Cardinals Roberts in the
Yeah,
suite.
yeah.
Got some good TikTok stuff.
We did get good ticks out of that. Yeah, shout out Carton. You just signed a huge deal with FS1.
Okay, so I'm looking at the stats. The Mets and the Astros are both middle of the pack in stolen bases. They both have 51 this year.
Exactly.
Oh,
the
that's
same.
interesting.
Exactly the
Wow.
same.
Good call,
51
Mr.
stolen
Lino.
bases.
There you go.
As if I knew.
Nice. See that?
So, where'd you get the whiteboard?
I brought one from home.
You brought it from home?
BYOWB.
I gotta buy a whiteboard, I guess. Yeah, John, another thing he forgets the whiteboard.
John's just, it's not, whatever's the opposite of Johnny on the spot, that's John.
Has baby forgets about us.
Yeah, lose.
Crazy.
Pretty big event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad. All right, though.
All right, I got a number.
This is also a 3-game series. Last year, I think we played them 2-game series, but now different schedule. Everyone plays everybody a lot, so
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think I got my number here
All right,
for
there
what
you
the
go.
Astros are going to do stolen base wise. The guy who
You
leads
have a
their
number?
team is Kyle Tucker, followed by Corey Jolks. I weirdly know someone who told me all about Corey Julks a few years ago, and I'll never forget the name. So shout out Corey Julks.
I got my whiteboard. I got my number.
Okay, 3-game series. The pitching matchups of Scherzer, Verlander, right?
It's I'll give you the matchups right now.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got to see if
We
these
have
guys can be stolen
Monday
on too.
night, 8-10 game. Come on, Dylan. Got paper from Mark.
Oh,
Nice.
Dylan, thank you.
Watch.
Do we have a pencil or pen?
So is it combined stolen bases? Is that
I
what?
have my marker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right the marker.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, combined stolen bases.
Oh, the dad's going to get on this estimate too? Could we have
Yeah, you
put
guys
the
can
dad
throw a
between
number
us?
out too.
You guys
Yeah.
have some fun. Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? That could be a bonus point.
Oh, whoever's dad can get too?
Yeah.
So
Whoever's
they'll
dad
be
gets is a
separate. You
bonus
guys do your own.
point.
So you guys will say at the same time, and we'll
Yep.
show at the same time. That'll
Yeah.
be a bonus point to add in. But Monday night, 8:10 p.m., Max Scherzer versus Hunter Brown. The Astros, very, very talented rookie starting pitcher. And then Tuesday, Justin Verlander returning to Houston versus Framber Valdez, who's just one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. And Wednesday afternoon, 2:10, Tylor Megill versus Christian Javier.
Okay. I got my number. I wrote it so small. What am I doing? Why did I write it so little? Okay, now it's big.
A combined stolen bases.
Combined
Combined stolen bases by both teams.
3 games.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to count it down. We're going to show it. You guys say your numbers.
Okay.
It's going to be a little confusing.
Yeah, and then we'll say ours after as
Yeah.
well. So this is better for YouTube than podcasting, but we got you guys.
All
Sorry
right,
about that.
3, 2, 1.
7.
6. Oh,
4.
I had 5.
That's
7.
4, 5, 6,
Why
7.
don't you really quickly give it to your dads and they can just add to it and then hold
Okay,
it,
yeah.
and then they'll hold it under with their number.
Okay,
So we-
do that again.
No. We
Oh.
can just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. Here, write numbers on there.
And then just hold it up there while they talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what number did you have?
4.
I went 5. I went
Okay.
5. I
Oh,
just
so we
figured.
were lower than them.
Yeah, what did you guys say?
Oh, so now with the bonus point, we're just totally neutralizing.
I
out.
had 6 and James had 7.
Okay.
Oh, so now that wait.
That's
Wait, so
fine.
now that me and your dad were under, and you and my dad were over, this just could be nothing.
I guess there's going to be nothing. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. We'll say someone gets exact.
This
that's
is
bonus
John.
point.
John will take care of
John
it.
will
Yeah,
handle
John's got
this.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
John will handle
John's-
this. This is his
John's
problem.
gonna be free all week.
Just
so
no
no
bonus
worries for
point,
that.
that's all.
All right, nice, beautiful, thank you. So now, just preview the series.
Yep.
I do want to talk about these pitchers because they're just both really, really fun.
And we're only going to see the Astros once, so
Yeah.
let's talk about them.
And I feel like these two guys, for as good as they are, Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez, they're not really super well known in baseball yet for like casual fans, someone just really pays attention to the Mets. But Hunter Brown burst on the scene last year. He had an electric debut, mostly because people noticed that he has the exact same wind-up and delivery as Justin Verlander.
It's a good guy to copy.
Yeah, significantly smaller though. Brown's only 6'2", 210. And he
Must suck to be that small.
yeah, right. Must suck to be that small, 6'2", 210. For a starting pitcher, though, who throws 97 miles an hour, that is pretty small. And Brown, while he has a great fastball, it has pretty good life, pretty good shape. It just sits in the middle of the zone. Nobody hits it because it has that good hop. He's so good because even so young in his career, he has 2 standout breaking balls already. His slider and his curveball, which I believe is regarded as a knuckle curveball.
I think so, yes.
And the slider, he's going to just go sit it outside, and that curveball is going to drop down like real 12-6 fashion and see. He's really good. It's been one of my favorite pitching prospects in baseball for a very long time. Astros grabbed him out of junior college and just kind of built him in their lab as they do. And he looks like in a year where there's a lot of good rookies in baseball, he is absolutely one of the best. And he's been so good, and they had so much confidence in him. They didn't re-sign Justin Verlander. Think about that one for a second.
Yeah.
And then Framber Valdez,
Probably the most underrated pitcher in baseball.
he probably is. He was always a guy who was more of the ground ball artisan, 60% ground ball rate, one of the highest in the league forever. And all of a sudden now he's just striking out a ton of guys. 26% strikeout rate, highest rate of his career so far, with a 5% walk rate, which is the lowest of his career so far. So as he keeps getting better, evolution in the game. Also an amazing curveball. It's a little slurvier. Not Hunter Brown's more up and down. Valdez comes across like this. And he has the classic bowling ball sinker that you're just never really going to be able to square up.
Yeah, no.
And anyone who was a fan of an American League team, I'm sure you've seen Framber Valdez beat you in the playoffs a few times already. The guy's just really unhittable. He's
Clutch.
one of the best stories in the league. And have my buddy, I've talked about a few times, Nick, shout him out, works for the Astros organization. He said that Framber is completely wild.
Yeah.
He said that he's like flamboyant, dresses in crazy clothes, like the master of vibes and enthusiasm for that team in the clubhouse.
And they have their manager's the master of vibes, too, with Dusty.
Dusty and Buck. That's going to be an all-time like combined age of managers in baseball history.
Oh,
Right?
100%.
Got to be one of the oldest like managerial matchups ever.
Definitely. And then did you talk about Christian Javier?
I did because Christian Javier, he was a guy who was ascending rapidly the last couple of years. This year, he's lost a lot of life in his fastball.
Yeah,
Similar to what we talked about with Verlander this year, it's just flattened out. And his thing was always having that really hoppy, like rising fastball because he doesn't really throw that hard, and he's also a tiny bit smaller. And he only has 2 pitches, fastball and sliders. He was kind of doing what Spencer Strider was doing just in the American League almost as well last year.
Yeah.
But that fastball's flattened out this year, and he is being hit harder. So keep an eye on that. He's been giving up some home runs. Hopefully we can get to him too because the other 2 guys, are really good.
For you guys at home too, 8:10 start times on Monday and Tuesday, 2:10 on Wednesday.
I said that.
Oh, you did?
I said all that.
Wow,
Yeah.
blanked
What are you
out.
doing?
I blanked out. I was looking up the matchups. I was looking at stats. I was looking at their offense.
So ahead of it.
Kyle Tucker, love Kyle Tucker.
Not having that great year,
Watch 3 minutes.
Isn't, but he is at the
Yeah,
same
no.
time. Is Jordan going to play?
No, he's out for like a month.
Cool.
No bleach
Awesome.
trade. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not awesome. Bad for baseball. Love Jordan
Good for the
Alvarez.
Mets.
Good for the Mets that
Yeah.
he's not going to be playing because that definitely changes their offense quite a bit. Jose Abreu, we know, has been about as cold as you could be, although he's heating up
He's
a
like
little
like
bit.
2 weeks.
Yeah, he's had a good couple weeks. Jeremy Pena, World Series MVP. You guys know him well. Alex Bregman. Like, this is still a very, very good
Altuve,
team.
yeah.
Altuve's around. They have been struggling a little bit. Granted, they're 7 games over 500, which is not. I'd love to
which
be
is funny.
struggling like that. But yeah, this is. It feels like a little bit of a World Series hangover team.
We're going to see old friend Rafael Montero.
Yep.
Which is always pretty funny. The fact that, oh, he's good now. Imagine that.
Going to see a friend of mine, Brandon Belak, who
There
I
you
played
go,
baseball
yeah.
with. Got to mention it every time.
Shout out Brandon Belak.
My dad.
That's right. See, I was going to ask you, is he on the roster
I
again?
think he was recently sent down.
No, he's on the roster right now.
really?
Yeah, he's on the roster. He's been used quite a bit, especially like in kind of the long stretch role. Nothing really to worry about, I will say, like unfortunately, but he was pretty cool. I played with him. I caught him. He was a beast.
He was special. Everyone knew. All the dads, you travel team, bring the kids together from all over the place. Bring the kids from all over the place, sorry. And we watched him and we were like, whoa, he's 13?
He's different.
He was different.
tell right
He
away.
hit different. It sounded different coming off his bat. And when he threw, the pop of the mitt was like, wow.
This
So-
is going to be something funny for you guys watching on YouTube, but as you guys know both of our dads, you can hear our last names, Shiano and Luino. You can see them. We're talking about Brooklyn. Like, these are Italian guys. As they talk with their hands, they're not really used to having microphones. So they start talking with their hands, and the microphone's further away. So it's going to be good shout out for Vito for editing this one. But going to wrap this up. It's been a long episode.
Hold on one second. Before we go, I do want to mention when the Mets are back in town, the 2 bobbleheads on the desk.
Yes.
You got the Starling Marte bobblehead and the Indiana Jones bobblehead. Monday and Tuesday that the Mets are back, first 15,000 fans get those. And the absence of proof event is pretty cool. Non-alcoholic beverages. Look, I've went through tons of dry months where I try not to drink, go to the game, keep it pretty easy. There's never that many non-alcoholic beverage options.
That's
here.
fair.
You know how hard it is to get a good cup of coffee here? Some coffee. So go to the Mets website. Absence of proof for $100. You get an all-you-can-drink drink special with the absence of proof event, which is a great name.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Absence of proof because, alcoholic proof in a beverage.
There we go.
And there is a gift basket. There's a raffle ticket. I believe you get some decent tickets with this deal. So go check that out, the absence of proof event at Citi Field, and get your bobbles.
Yeah, it's a great option for people, who may be in recovery, battling sobriety. It's very cool. Very cool event.
These bobbleheads are cool. I know we've had them out
Dude,
before,
this
but they're
Indiana
awesome.
Jones one is sick.
They're
cool,
both
cool
sick.
thing that production today. Shout out Dylan was working on that too. The Mets, Mr. Met Indiana Jones, like the whole thing. Looking for
Very,
the
very
Buckner
cool.
ball.
Very, very
It
cool.
was really well done.
Yeah, it was really well done. It was
Yeah.
nice. But before we do go, got you guys here. I want one more thing. I want you guys to just give like a funny story about us as kids. Just something stupid. Anything you got. I think Mr. Luino had one
You
about
had
me
one about
before,
James,
which was
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I could do about James. Exactly.
You
All right,
could,
so
but-
when Mark and James were probably, I think, 2nd grade maybe.
Yeah.
Mr. Schwartz's team, shout out Mr. Schwartz. Recreation baseball. James, this will live in my mind forever. James, no matter what he did, strike out, base hit, walk. When that inning was over, he would run to his mother, Gina, who was sitting in her lawn chair, and just jump on her lap and just start smothering her with kisses and taking the kisses back from her. It was every
it was a very
time. And it
affectionate
was so,
7-year-old.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a nice thing.
We have to embarrass you guys too, because when we pulled up to the park today, we were parking. I saw my dad's shirt. I was like, "Oh, nice shirt." He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't want to get any stains on it. We're gonna be on camera today." He goes, "Nice and white shirt." I wanted to make sure I wore it for this event.
I got the inside scoop from my sister at home because I came from my apartment that my dad changed 3 times before coming to the ballpark today to wear the right shirt. And you see he's wearing this nice Mets polo. He has a change of clothes in his bag over there. He's been carrying around another jersey all day just in case he wanted to do the jersey instead of the polo.
Listen, I was a Boy Scout. You have to be prepared for anything.
So, how was your guys' experience on the Mets'd podcast? How do you feel?
It's great. When are we coming back?
I would say,
Is that next year?
I would say it's aside from my the day I met my wife, my children's births. This is probably the highlight of my life. Right here. This is it.
That's
the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love
Okay.
it. Well, thank you guys for coming. Thanks for being the
Thanks
best
for
fans in the
having us.
world.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for making us Mets fans, because again, don't know where we'd be without that.
Totally. And thank you for making this a more fun episode after not so fun series.
100%.
Great.
So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. You know where to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mets'd. Go subscribe to the New York Mets YouTube channel. You can see what our dads look like and maybe get a peek into what we'll look like in about 30, 40 years from now. Or if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. We do appreciate it. And follow James on Twitter at
James_Shiano.
me, Giraffe Neck Mark with a C. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Mets'd Podcast. Peace out.